Hello and welcome to Detailed Paranormal and the Ackley House, an authentic Dr. Hans Holzer paranormal investigation. The house is located at Lavater Place in Nyack, New York. It is famous for more than just the supernatural. When the Ackley family realized their home was haunted, they sold it. But they did not mention the haunting to the buyer. The buyer sued both the Ackleys and their realtor. They argued that neither the seller or the broker disclosed the haunting. They won a landmark decision. Now, under certain conditions, sellers must inform buyers of known hauntings. The Ackley home is Victorian, well kept, and is occupied by more than temporal beings. People passed it every day without knowing its secret. When the Ackley family purchased the home in 1967, it had been abandoned for 7 years, left to deteriorate. Families have resided at the beautiful Victorian home for more than a century. Their private triumphs and tragedies were celebrated and endured, but not all of the residents moved on to the other side. On one ordinary evening, not long after the Ackley family moved in, disembodied footsteps were heard on the second floor. They were deliberate. The footsteps were of someone who knew the house well. The footsteps returned the following night, always above whoever was in the house, always matching their position, as if mocking the living. Doors opened of their own volition. Chairs would shift slightly between glances. Objects mysteriously appeared in places they had not been left. When someone paused to listen or observe, the anomalies continued. Was this otherworldly interaction? The children noticed the strangeness of the house before the adults did. They waved at empty space. They spoke softly toward corners of rooms. They answered questions no one had asked aloud. When asked who they were talking to, the answers were simple. The children answered, "It's the ones who lived here before." At night, footsteps moved through the hallway outside their bedrooms. But the footsteps didn't stop. They continued into the bedrooms. One by one, the family members felt their beds being shaken violently. But they noticed a pattern. The beds only shook on weekdays when there was work or school to attend. The family also noticed gifts being discovered around the house, not given by the living, but the dead. They determined that if they needed a gift for occasions like birthdays or christenings, the appropriate type of gift would appear. Things like gold rings and silver sugar tongs appeared throughout the years. Act 3. The house remembers the others. The house had been lived in by many before this family arrived. In the late 1800s, elderly residents spent long illnesses in upstairs rooms, dying slowly within the house rather than in hospitals. Children who lived there rarely reached adulthood, their lives ending quietly in bedrooms that were subsequently reused by later owners and their families. A friendly American Revolutionary War lieutenant repeatedly appeared to family members. Once, the lieutenant appeared to Mrs. Ackley's son, instantly manifesting eye to eye with the startled boy. On another occasion, an older white-haired gentleman was seen by Mrs. Ackley as she painted the living room. When she inquired if the curious spirit approved of the colours, he nodded and smiled in silent approval. In the early 20th century, the home was divided and shared. This undoubtedly increased the paranormal activity, although most tenants didn't stay long enough to mention it. Many tenants lived in the home. People left without explanation, and all vacated with haste. During that period, footsteps were often heard and dismissed as noisy neighbours. Residents often heard their names being called and answered instinctively, only to realise no one was there. Act 4. escalation. Activity intensified. Lights activated on their own. Cold spots were felt in otherwise unoccupied rooms. Pressure settled against shoulders and backs. Ghostly figures appeared in the peripheral vision of family members. People felt followed from room to room, accompanied by the unknown. Something yet to be revealed seemed to know the daily patterns of the family. It anticipated their movements. What did they want? Act 5. More than one presence. Footsteps were heard from different directions. Strange voices overlapped. Otherworldly presences lingered just out of sight. Others imposed themselves upon the living. The house felt crowded, as if multiple occupants shared the same space without acknowledging one another. Adding another mystery to the Ackley house, spirits living in the same space without being aware of one another's existence. Were they on different planes of existence? The history. Local historical records revealed layer upon layer of residents. Elderly people who died after long decline. Families who endured loss inside the home. Tenants who left suddenly carrying unresolved strain caused by misunderstood supernatural interactions. Just as the spirits had, they also left their own energetic imprint. Each experienced the hauntings in their own way. Some were frightened, and some felt the kindness of the spirits. The Hudson River nearby filled the nights with fog. The neighborhood slept. The spirits remained alert. They had watched generations live in the old home, unaware of the phantom's existence. The only hints that the spirits shared the same space was the occasional interaction, which were usually explained away through rationalization. Act 7. Holzer investigates. When Dr. Hans Holzer examined the Ackley house, he listened to his psychic medium before drawing conclusions. They identified multiple human spirits bound to the structure through extreme emotional attachment and lingering unresolved issues. Dr. Holzer identified one of the earthbound spirits as Sir George, a kindly older gentleman with white hair and an apple-cheeked face. He was dressed in a light blue suit, white hose, and buckled black shoes. Then there was Lady Margaret, the wife of Sir George. She was once seen leaning over one of the Ackley family members as they slept. As opposed to the other spirits violently shaking the beds to awaken the family for work or school, Lady Margaret would gently rock the children. And of course, the unnamed Navy officer who stood eye to eye with Mrs. Ackley's son. Act 8. Understanding. Dr. Holzer recognized generations of human presence. As time passed, the spirits became familiar with them, which caused them to give each member more attention. In this haunting, the attention was positive. The spirits sought to help by the only means they could. The environment remained active with spiritual energy. Understanding the benignity of the entities explained their magnanimous activity. Would anyone really want to exorcise the obliging spirits? Despite the remarkable supernatural activity, the Ackley family viewed the spirits as gracious otherworldly friends. They even featured their affable ghostly guests in a 1977 issue of the Reader's Digest. Some spirits remain where they were most contented in their former temporal lives. Please do like and subscribe, as your likes and subscriptions helps us to convey the authentic investigations of Dr. Holzer to more people. Thank you so much for watching the entire production. This proves your acute interest in the paranormal. Please comment with your ideas for future Dr. Holzer videos. Your input is truly invaluable. Join us again at Detailed Paranormal for the paranormal details.